Space is unforgiving. It doesn't matter how powerful you are. If you find yourself floating around in the cold void of space without a spacesuit, you're screwed. And we mean really, really screwed. But what if humans could breathe in space without suits? Would that make space travel easier? Well, let's take a deep dive into what would happen to your body if you took a big deep breath and held it while floating around outside a spaceship. First things first, the air in our lungs would expand. If we were to take a deep breath and hold it while in space, the air in our lungs would expand. This happens because there's still pressure in our lungs pushing outwards even in space, but nothing pushing back. However, after about 90 seconds, the air in our lungs would reach its boiling point. That's because the lack of pressure would cause the gases in the air to expand. The temperature inside our bodies would also increase since we're retaining heat very well, thanks to the lack of any medium to conduct heat away from our bodies. And as soon as we exhaled, things would get really bad, really fast. Upon exhaling, all the gases that were in our lungs would rush out at high speeds. This sudden rush of air would create a big problem for us since it would cause our lungs to implode. This means that upon exhaling that one deep breath, our lungs would collapse and our entire respiratory system would be compromised. Even worse, this would lead to a rapid decompression of our entire body. All the air that was stored in our body would rush out through any orifice it can find, including our mouth, eyes, ears, nose, and even skin pores. This sudden loss of pressure in our body would cause all the gases dissolved in our blood, sweat, urine, and other bodily fluids to come out of solution and form bubbles. This could potentially lead to blindness, deafness, and even death. If we somehow manage to keep all our body parts inside our body upon exhaling, the next thing to go would be our blood vessels. The expanding gases would damage the walls of our blood vessels, causing them to rupture. This massive internal bleeding would cause our blood pressure to drop to zero and all the blood in our body would boil. Yes, boil. Even though the temperature of space is approximately 2.7 Kelvin or negative 270 degrees Celsius, the lack of pressure would cause the water in our blood to boil and turn into steam. As our blood boiled, it would expand in volume and rupture the blood vessels in our brain, causing a fatal stroke. With the blood vessels in our brain gone, our brain would swell up and then rupture, leading to our immediate death. But even if somehow we managed to survive all this, our eyeballs would be the next thing to go. The expanding gases within our body would exert tremendous pressure on our eyeballs, causing them to pop out of their sockets. This might be the point where we lose consciousness, or at least we would be too busy holding our eyeballs in our hands to care about anything else. At this point, our body would start to deflate like a punctured balloon. Now that the pressure inside and outside our body is equalized, the gases that were being forced out of our body would rush back in. This means that our lungs would start to collapse and our entire body would be sucked in. If we somehow managed to survive all this, we would have all the gases in the universe in our body. The result would be devastating. Our organs would be crushed and we would be no more. So there you have it. If we could breathe in space without suits, it wouldn't change the fact that we would still need suits. Otherwise, just one deep breath could be enough to kill us. Now you know what would happen if we could breathe in space without suits. But did you know that there is a place on Earth where you can experience a mini version of space? You can actually experience a mini version of space by visiting a place called the Danakil Depression in Ethiopia. This place is so unique that it has been dubbed the Gate to Hell. The Danakil Depression is a place where the Earth's crust has thinned, allowing hot magma to rise close to the surface. This creates an area with very low atmospheric pressure, similar to the pressure in space. This means that if you were to take a deep breath at the Danakil Depression, the air in your lungs would expand without any danger of them exploding. So if you ever want to experience what it feels like to breathe in space, just visit the Danakil Depression. Just make sure not to hold your breath, otherwise you just might end up popping your lungs. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, make sure to share it with your friends and family so they can learn something new today. See ya.